You all asked for it. I finally watched it. Let's do this. What's up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. Last year, I was kind of entrenched for the first time into Indian cinema, and I've had a lot of requests to review this brand new film, Jawan, and today we're going to talk about it. I'm very excited. Let's do it. This is the journey of a man who is set to rectify the wrongs in the society in an attempt to get even with his past, driven by a personal vendetta while keeping up a promise he made years ago. And as always, I really enjoy reviewing Indian cinema, specifically on the big screen, because it gives me the opportunity to go out to the theater and have an experience. And it felt like all the films that I saw last year, and those reviews are in a playlist down below, gave me a very specific, entertaining, thrilling experience. It's the same case with this film, and it feels like it adds to the film itself, if that makes sense. But what's evoking those emotions from the crowd is obviously what's happening on screen, and the way this movie gets started in the most epic way possible, with this Thor-esque entrance of our main character at that point, breaking free from everything wrapped around him and delivering on one of the coolest, often slow motion action sequences I've seen in a cinema all year. And obviously, leaning into being this music video style of editing and pacing. But the opening scene kind of sets the stage for what this film is, at least you think. But the movie itself goes in so many different directions. At times, it may be a little bit too much in terms of pacing and the way that this film flows, but I have to look at this as a distinctly different experience from what I'm used to, and that's Hollywood films, because every time I see a film from India, I get such an authentic experience when it comes to pacing and editing. I have to kind of adjust my brain. So I was adjusting as I was watching this movie, but I'm getting some amazing performances, specifically from Shah Rukh, who is spectacular in this film. And from what I have seen and what I have researched, this is a comeback of sorts. Don't call it a comeback! A long time in the making, but playing multiple characters in this film, and it feels like every time we have a refresh, a restart with this storyline, and the new location, the new situation, it gives him an opportunity to do what he does best, and that is exemplify emotions, which I absolutely loved, and the action sequences always that he is a part of, and really all throughout the movie, the way they're handled, the way they're edited, the way they, just jump off of the screen are so much fun to watch. Now, there were some moments where the editing and specifically the pacing got in the way to where I couldn't fully appreciate the very clear practical effects, the very clear choreography that is outstanding all throughout the movie. But as the film progresses, and specifically in the second half of the film, that's when you really get to see these effects shine, these action sequences shine. And other than that opening and kind of that prologue of sorts taking place on the train thereafter, really the entire second half of the movie is full of incredibly paced and put together action sequences that, again, come across in a music video way, but the music enhances those moments in a way that it had me so emotionally connected to a story that would have otherwise been hard to connect to, because there are some supporting characters here that don't get a lot to do or say, and some of them are, kind of interchangeable, and they don't get a lot of growth, a lot of development. And really, I could say the same thing about our main character all the way through, to where the focus is always on the opposite side of things, and it felt like the villainous side of the story sometimes got more development than the protagonist. That being said, the moments are so epic, and the music is so great, and the action is so, it just pulls you in all the way through. It really wasn't hard to be connected to both sides of the story within every individual sequence. So we're fighting an outlaw here who is described as someone who knows no fear and brings harm and evil to so many all throughout this movie. So you do have a very prominent antagonist, and that's really cool. You have Vikram, who comes in with a very clear mission. First of all, that is to oppose the evil that is being presented to us at the beginning of the film, but also to demand something or a set of things from his government and take down this very corrupt political system. And oftentimes when you watch a movie from India, you have a political message at play. That's something I've noticed concurrently throughout all of the films, but I found this one to feel a bit different because normally it's in support of the systems in place. In this film, we're kind of opposed opposing all of the flaws that's coming with the political systems in place in this movie. And again, I know absolutely nothing about the politics in real life, but there is a message in this film. I'm not sure if it reflects what is happening apart from what this movie presents, but what it does in this film, he opposes that political system and he's trying to do what is best for the people. And that's an important message that is concurrent all throughout this film. I'm hesitant to say, well, I thought it was cool because they're going up against the system, going up against the man. But I did find that aspect of the movie to be very obvious, a little on the nose at times, but again, it's the presentation, it's the quality, it's the way that a lot of these action sequences exceeded my expectations. You have expectations for a movie like this, but once you get to see it on the big screen, I've not seen sequences like this on the big screen all year. So regardless of whether or not I was fully invested in every emotional aspect of this movie and every subplot, every character, it didn't mean as much when it came to the experience and now kind of getting a feel for how a lot of Indian cinema and the way that it's presented with higher quality films like this. Obviously, every movie's not going to work. I really liked the way that it was handled specifically in this film. So again, it's an experience across the board, trying to understand everything. I'm not necessarily going to have that connection, but I liked what I saw. And this man at the beginning who gains consciousness and kind of becomes this messiah for the people that rescued him and whatnot, and that story, again, presented in such a cool way, that's interesting. The metro train sequence at the beginning, and that was such a shift for my brain because we go from this like period piece epic to, people hijacking a train, and I'm like, okay, I have to completely shift where my mindset is. But once I got on board, pun intended with that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the wedding that's happening, all of the characters involved, there are some moments and some scenes with dialogue to where, the dialogue wasn't as impactful when we were moving and shifting so much, but when we get time to settle down with these characters, that's when the movie kind of resonated a bit more emotionally from a dialogue standpoint. But then you go beyond that, and it feels like every moment and sequence that slows down, inevitably we're going to pick back up, we're going to speed back up and deliver on some action. So all in all, the film itself and all of the different story points did feel more inconsistent than maybe I thought they would, but looking at the individual scenes, sequences, and moments, that's where it starts to resonate. And before I give you my score, I need to see more Shah Rukh Khan movies. Where do I start? Leave your comments down below. And is there another film from India coming out at any point this year that you believe is worth me watching? I've had some recommendations already, but I want to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, if you want to support this video, this channel, 1, subscribe. I'd love to be back with more. 2, if you want to drop that like down below, that would be awesome. Also, I want to say as a Batman fan, there's a very Dark Knight Rises feel to something specific in this movie. I'm curious to see if you find that. If you do, let me know that as well. While Jawan has the energy and emotions expected, the pacing occasionally causes the story to stumble. Regardless, Shah Rukh Khan confidently takes this material and dominates every moment. This is an action spectacle with incredible music, and I would personally recommend seeing it on the big screen if you are interested. I imagine the small screen experience will not be as impactful. Let me know what you guys would like me to review next. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and find my podcast over on Patreon. We're doing weekly podcasts. Go check it out. The link is down below. I'll see you soon.